The general hospital buzzed with activity, but within the delivery room, time seemed to slow down. Alice clutched the bed sheets tightly, her eyes squeezed shut with determination. Her breathing was erratic, beads of sweat trailing down her forehead. Beside her, Lucas held her hand, his own fear masked by a facade of strength. The room was thick with tension as contractions grew more intense, each one pulling Alice closer to the brink. Dr. Perez, with a focused expression, barked out quick instructions to the nurses around her. "Push, Alice. Push with all your strength." "They're almost here," the doctor encouraged, her voice firm yet gentle. Panting, Alice gathered the last of her strength, her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and hope. With a final, wrenching scream, the first twin entered the world. The baby's cry filled the room, a brief note of joy in the symphony of anguish. But before the elation could settle, the second twin arrived, also with a strong cry. Lucas watched in astonishment and confusion as the nurses cleaned and wrapped the babies. One had pale, fair skin like Alice, while the other had rich, dark skin. Lucas was speechless, his mind a storm of questions he couldn't yet voice. Amidst the flurry of medical staff, he glanced at Alice, seeking solace in her eyes. But her face was pale, her breaths growing shallow. "Sophia, are you okay?" Lucas's voice trembled, panic rising in his throat. Before he could grasp the unfolding reality, Alice's eyes fluttered closed, her breath escaping in a weak, uneven rhythm. "Doctor, something's wrong." Lucas's desperate cry echoed in the room, shattering the fragile moment of calm. Dr. Perez immediately shifted her focus to Alice, her face a mask of professional urgency. Shouting orders to the nurses, she fought to stabilize the young mother. Lucas, frozen in place, felt his world tilting as he watched the life drain from Alice's face. The cries of their newborn twins filled the room, but Lucas couldn't tear his eyes away from Alice. "Stay with me, Alice. Please don't leave me," Lucas whispered, his voice breaking. He clung to her hand, the warmth slipping away. Alice opened her eyes one last time, her gaze locking with his. In that fleeting moment, love and sadness mingled in her eyes. "Take care of them, Lucas. Promise me," she murmured, her voice barely audible over the chaos. Then, with a final, shuddering breath, she was gone. A primal scream of pain and anguish tore from Lucas's throat as he held Alice's lifeless hand. The nurses, their faces drawn with sorrow, gently pulled him away. Dr. Perez approached, her expression grave. "I'm so sorry, Lucas. We did everything we could," she said, placing a comforting hand on his shoulder. But her words barely penetrated the haze of grief enveloping him. The cries of the twins echoed louder, a painful reminder of the life that had just been lost. Lucas's world shattered in that moment, the pieces scattering beyond reach. Hours later, he found himself sitting in the waiting room, staring into the void. The future, once so full of promise, now lay in ruins. Rosa, Lucas's mother, arrived in a hurry, her face etched with worry. "Lucas, what happened? Where is Alice?" she asked, but seeing the devastation in his eyes, she understood. "Alice? She didn't make it," Lucas stammered, his voice a mere whisper. Tears welled up and fell unbidden. Rosa embraced him, her own tears mingling with his as she tried to offer solace. "We'll get through this, son. The children need you now," she said softly, though she knew her words could only do so much. The following day, Lucas gathered enough strength to visit the twins. As he walked into the neonatal unit, the beeping of machines and the soft murmurs of nurses filled the air. He approached the incubators, his heart heavy with sorrow and confusion. One of the twins had pale skin, mirroring Alice's delicate complexion, while the other had rich, dark skin. Lucas stood there, grappling with the strange dichotomy before him. His mind raced with questions and doubts, but the ache of losing Alice was too fresh to allow any clear thoughts. Rosa, sensing his turmoil, gently placed a hand on his shoulder. "Lucas, these children need their father. It doesn't matter what they look like. They are part of Alice and part of you," she said, her voice filled with quiet strength. Lucas nodded, though the conflict within him remained. He reached into the incubator and touched the hand of one twin, feeling the soft, tiny fingers grasp his own. A spark of connection flickered within him, but the shadow of doubt loomed large. "Mom, I don't know if I can do this. I don't even know if they're mine," Lucas whispered, his voice tinged with despair. Rosa's grip on his shoulder tightened, her eyes fierce. "We can't always understand the mysteries of life, Lucas. But love doesn't depend on skin color or genetics. If you need certainty, we can do a test. But don't let your doubts overshadow the love you have for them." Lucas sighed deeply, his heart a storm of emotions. "I just need some time, Mom. Can you take care of them for a while? Until I can clear my mind." Rosa saw the pain etched in her son's face and nodded. "Of course, Lucas. I'll take care of them. But remember, they need their father. Don't stay away too long." Lucas thanked her with a hollow smile, feeling a mix of guilt and relief. He kissed each twin's forehead gently, then turned to leave the room, the weight of his loss and uncertainty pressing down on him. As Lucas wandered aimlessly through the neighborhood, his thoughts churned with memories of Alice and the future they had planned. He passed by the auto repair shop where he worked but couldn't bring himself to enter. Instead, he found his way to a nearby bar, seeking solace at the bottom of a glass. Pedro, his friend and co-worker, found him there, hunched over a drink. "Lucas, what are you doing here so early?" Pedro asked, concern lacing his voice. Lucas looked up, eyes red and empty. "I don't know what to do, Pedro. Alice is gone, and I have 2 babies at home that I don't even know if they're mine. I can't handle this," he confessed, his voice breaking. Pedro placed a comforting hand on Lucas's shoulder. "I'm so sorry, Lucas. I can't imagine what you're going through. But hiding here won't solve anything. You have to face it for Alice, for the twins. We're all here to help you." "Thank you, Pedro. I don't know if I can," Lucas replied, his voice barely above a whisper. Pedro looked him straight in the eyes. "Those children need their father, Lucas. Take your time, but don't abandon them." Lucas nodded slowly, feeling a glimmer of understanding. "I'll try, Pedro. I need time, but I'll try." He returned home hours later, a bit calmer but still overwhelmed. Rosa was in the living room, rocking the twins who had finally calmed down. Lucas watched them for a moment, feeling a tug at his heart. "Thank you for everything, Mom. I know I'm asking too much," he said, his voice filled with gratitude and pain. Rosa looked at him tenderly. "We're family, Lucas. We'll get through this together." That night, as the twins slept peacefully, Lucas lay awake, wrestling with his thoughts and emotions. The road ahead seemed long and uncertain, but he knew he had to find his way, for Alice and for their children. In the quiet of the night, Lucas found himself unable to escape the relentless tide of his thoughts. He tossed and turned, the weight of his uncertainty pressing down on him. The dim light from the hallway cast long shadows across the room, mirroring the shadows in his heart. Morning came slowly, dragging the night's burdens into the light of day. Lucas sat at the kitchen table, staring into a cup of coffee that had long since gone cold. The house was silent, save for the occasional whimper from the twins in the next room. Rosa, ever watchful, entered the kitchen and stopped, her heart breaking at the sight of her son's desolation. "Lucas, you need to eat something," she said softly, her voice filled with concern. "You need to keep your strength up for them." Lucas looked up, his eyes red and weary. "I'm not hungry, Mom. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't even know if I can." Rosa sat down beside him, taking his hand in hers. "I know, son. This is the hardest thing you've ever faced. But those children need you. Alice needed you and trusted you with their care." Lucas's voice trembled as he spoke. "But how can I take care of them when I don't even know if they're mine? One is white, and the other is black. How is that possible?" Rosa sighed, squeezing his hand gently. "We can't always understand the mysteries of life, Lucas. The color of their skin doesn't change the fact that they are your children. I've looked into their eyes and seen you, and seen Alice. If you need to know the truth, we can do a test. But until then, don't let doubt steal your love for them." Lucas nodded slowly, but the doubt and pain still gnawed at his heart. I can't do it alone, Mom. I need you to take care of them, just for a while, until I can clear my mind." Seeing the depth of his despair, Rosa nodded. "Okay, Lucas. I'll take care of them. But remember, they need their father. Don't take too long to come back to them." Lucas stood up, feeling overwhelmed and guilty. "Thank you, Mom. I really appreciate it. I need to go out for a while to think." As Lucas left the house, Rosa went to the twins' room. She gently picked them up, one in each arm, and began to rock them softly. "Sure, calm down, little ones. Everything will be fine. Grandma is here." Lucas wandered aimlessly through the neighborhood, his mind a whirlwind of thoughts. He passed by the auto repair shop where he worked, but couldn't bring himself to go in. Instead, he found himself at a nearby park, sitting on a bench, staring at the ground. The memories of Alice were vivid and raw, her laughter, her touch, the way she used to look at him with so much love. The pain of losing her was still a fresh wound, and the doubt about the twins gnawed at his soul. He needed answers, but more than that, he needed peace. As he sat there, the sun slowly setting, casting long shadows across the park, Lucas knew he had to find a way forward. For Alice, for the twins, and for himself. He couldn't let doubt and grief destroy what little he had left. The park grew darker as the sun disappeared, leaving Lucas alone with his thoughts. He knew he couldn't stay lost in his despair, but the path ahead seemed daunting and unclear. Finally, he stood up and decided to seek solace in the only place he knew might offer some comfort, the local church. The church was a small, humble building with a single bell tower that echoed through the town every Sunday morning. Lucas walked up the stone steps, each one feeling heavier than the last, and entered the quiet sanctuary. The air inside was cool and still, filled with a faint scent of candles and polished wood. Father Michael, an elderly priest with kind eyes and a gentle demeanor, was tidying up the pews when he noticed Lucas. He walked over, placing a comforting hand on Lucas's shoulder. "Lucas, my son, what brings you here at this hour?" Lucas tried to speak, but the words caught in his throat. Father Michael guided him to a pew and sat down beside him, waiting patiently. I don't know what to do, Father," Lucas finally managed, his voice cracking with emotion. "Alice is gone, and I'm left with these two beautiful children. But they're so different, and I don't know if they're even mine. I'm drowning in doubt and grief. How do I move forward?" Father Michael nodded, his eyes filled with understanding. "Lucas, life often presents us with challenges we never expected. But remember, the love you and Alice shared was real and powerful. It brought those children into this world. Their differences are not a sign of doubt, but of the miraculous nature of life." Lucas looked up, his eyes pleading for guidance. "But how do I take care of them when I'm so lost myself?" The priest smiled gently. "You take one step at a time, Lucas. Love them as Alice would have. Trust in the bond you share with them. And if you need to seek the truth, do so, but don't let it overshadow the love and care they need from you now." Lucas nodded, feeling a small glimmer of hope. "Thank you, Father. I think I needed to hear that." Father Michael squeezed his shoulder. "You're not alone, Lucas. We're here for you. And remember, faith isn't about having all the answers. It's about trusting that the answers will come." Lucas left the church feeling a bit lighter, the words of Father Michael echoing in his heart. As he walked back home, the night air cool against his skin, he resolved to find the strength within himself to face the days ahead. When he arrived home, Rosa was waiting for him, the twins asleep in their cribs. She looked at Lucas with concern, but he gave her a small, reassuring smile. "I'm going to do my best, Mom. One step at a time." Rosa nodded, her eyes filled with pride. "That's all anyone can ask, Lucas. We'll get through this together." Lucas sat by the twins' cribs, watching their peaceful faces. In that moment, he made a silent promise to Alice and to himself. No matter the doubts, no matter the pain, he would love and protect these children with all his heart. And perhaps, in time, the answers he sought would come. In the days that followed, Lucas poured his heart into caring for the twins. Each morning began with gentle lullabies and soft kisses on their foreheads. He would sit with them, one in each arm, telling stories of their mother, Alice. He spoke of her laughter, her kindness, and the dreams she had for them. The twins, in their innocent curiosity, listened intently, their wide eyes reflecting the love and devotion in Lucas's voice. One evening, as the sun cast a golden hue over their small home, Lucas sat with the twins in the living room. He had decided to go through some of Alice's belongings, hoping to find solace in her memory. Rosa joined him, her presence a comforting reminder of family strength. As they sorted through the items, Lucas found a small, intricately designed wooden box. Inside, he discovered a collection of letters tied with a delicate ribbon. The letters were from Alice, written during her pregnancy, addressed to each of the twins. Lucas's hands trembled as he untied the ribbon and began to read aloud. "To my dearest Evelyn," he began, his voice soft and filled with emotion. "You are a miracle, a gift beyond measure. Your laughter will light up the darkest days, and your smile will bring joy to those around you. Never doubt your worth, for you are loved more than words can express." Tears welled up in Lucas's eyes as he read, his voice breaking with the weight of his emotions. Evelyn, the twin with fair skin and light eyes, seemed to listen intently, her tiny fingers gripping his hand. Rosa placed a comforting hand on Lucas's shoulder as he continued to the next letter. "To my beloved Elijah," he read, addressing the twin with darker skin and deep, soulful eyes. "You are strength and courage embodied. Your spirit will inspire those around you, and your heart will guide you through life's challenges. Know that you are cherished, always." Elijah reached out, touching the letters with his small hand, as if sensing the depth of his mother's words. Lucas could barely contain his tears, overwhelmed by the love and foresight Alice had poured into these letters. Rosa spoke softly, her voice filled with wisdom. Alice saw beyond the surface. She knew that love is not defined by appearances, but by the connections we share, the bonds we form. Lucas nodded, feeling a profound sense of connection to Alice and their children. He realized that the love they shared was a powerful force, capable of transcending any doubt or pain. It was a bond that went beyond blood, rooted in the very essence of their beings. That night, as Lucas put the twins to bed, he whispered a promise to them. "I will honor your mother's memory by loving you with all my heart. We will face the world together, and nothing will ever break our bond." The twins, nestled in their cribs, seemed to understand, their tiny hands reaching out for Lucas. He held their hands, feeling a surge of strength and determination. In that moment, he knew that no matter what lay ahead, they would face it as a family, united by a love that was unbreakable. Weeks turned into months, and Lucas found a rhythm in his new life as a single father. Each day brought its own challenges, but the love he had for Evelyn and Elijah fueled his determination. Rosa remained a steadfast support, her gentle wisdom guiding Lucas through the trials of parenthood. One rainy afternoon, as the twins napped peacefully, Lucas found himself once again in the attic. This time, he was determined to find any clues about the twins' heritage. He knew that understanding their past was crucial for their future. Among the dusty boxes and forgotten relics, Lucas discovered an old photo album. Inside were pictures of Alice's family, many of whom he had never met. As he flipped through the pages, he noticed a photograph of a woman who bore a striking resemblance to Elijah. She had the same deep eyes and radiant smile. The back of the photo was inscribed with a name, May Johnson, 1942. Intrigued, Lucas took the photograph to Rosa. "Do you recognize her?" he asked, handing her the picture. Rosa studied the photo, her eyes narrowing in concentration. "I think this is Alice's great-grandmother," she said slowly. "I remember Alice mentioning a strong woman in her family who faced many hardships. She must be May." Lucas felt a spark of hope. Maybe this is the connection we've been missing. Maybe understanding May's story will help us understand Elijah's heritage. With renewed determination, Lucas began researching May Johnson's life. He spent countless hours in the library, piecing together her story from old newspapers, records, and family histories. He discovered that May was a trailblazer, a woman who had fought against racial discrimination and had been a pillar of strength in her community. One evening, Lucas shared his findings with Rosa and the twins. Although they were too young to understand, he felt it was important to keep them included in this journey of discovery. "May was a remarkable woman," Lucas said, his voice filled with admiration. "She faced so many challenges but never gave up. Her strength flows in our family's veins, in both Evelyn and Elijah." Rosa nodded, her eyes shining with pride. "It's amazing to see how the past shapes us, how the strength of our ancestors guides us through life." As the months passed, Lucas continued to share stories of May and other family members with the twins. Each story was a thread in the tapestry of their heritage, weaving a rich and complex picture of their identity. But despite his growing understanding, Lucas knew there was still one question that lingered in his mind. He needed to know for certain if Evelyn and Elijah were his biological children. The thought gnawed at him, a constant source of doubt. One sunny morning, Lucas decided to take the step he had been avoiding. He scheduled an appointment for a DNA test. As he prepared to leave, Rosa placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "No matter the results, remember that love makes a family," she said softly. "You have been their father in every way that matters." Lucas nodded, holding on to her words as he headed to the clinic. The test was quick, but the wait for the results felt like an eternity. He spent the days in a state of anxious anticipation, trying to stay strong for the twins. Finally, the day arrived. With trembling hands, Lucas opened the envelope containing the results. His eyes scanned the paper, and he let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. "They're mine," he whispered, tears streaming down his face. "Evelyn and Elijah are my children." Overwhelmed with relief and joy, Lucas gathered the twins in his arms, holding them close. He knew that their journey was far from over, but this revelation was a turning point. The doubts that had haunted him were gone, replaced by a renewed sense of purpose and love. As he looked into the eyes of his children, Lucas felt a deep connection to the past, present, and future. He understood that their story was one of resilience, strength, and unbreakable bonds. Together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead, guided by the legacy of love that had brought them this far. With the DNA test results affirming his bond with Evelyn and Elijah, Lucas felt a newfound clarity. He was not only their caretaker, but their father in every sense of the word. This realization empowered him, filling his heart with a sense of completeness he hadn't felt since Alice's passing. One afternoon, Lucas decided to take the twins to the park. The sun bathed the playground in a warm, golden light, and the sound of children's laughter filled the air. Evelyn and Elijah, now more curious and adventurous, eagerly explored their surroundings. Lucas watched them with a smile, his heart swelling with pride and love. As they played, an elderly woman sitting on a nearby bench caught Lucas's eye. She had a kind, gentle face that radiated wisdom and warmth. She smiled at the twins, her eyes twinkling with delight. "Your children are beautiful," she said, her voice soft yet strong. "Thank you," Lucas replied, sitting beside her. "They bring so much joy to my life." The woman nodded, her gaze still fixed on the twins. "I can see that. They have a light in them, a resilience. It's clear they are deeply loved." Lucas felt a lump form in his throat. "They are. They've been through so much already, and they're only just beginning their journey." The woman turned to him, her eyes filled with understanding. "Love is a powerful force, my dear. It binds us, heals us, and gives us strength. You've done a wonderful job with them." Lucas smiled, feeling a sense of validation in her words. "Thank you. It hasn't been easy, but they're worth every challenge." The woman placed a gentle hand on his. "Remember, you are never alone. The love you give them is their foundation. It will guide them, as it has guided you." Lucas nodded, feeling a deep sense of connection to this stranger. Her words resonated with him, echoing the wisdom Rosa had shared with him so many times. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the park, Lucas gathered Evelyn and Elijah. "Time to go home, little ones," he called, scooping them up in his arms. The twins giggled, their laughter a melody that soothed his soul. On the way home, Lucas reflected on the conversation with the elderly woman. He realized that her words had given him a renewed sense of purpose. He was not just surviving, he was thriving, building a life filled with love and hope for his children. That evening, as Lucas tucked the twins into bed, he felt a profound sense of peace. He kissed their foreheads and whispered, I love you both more than words can say. You are my everything." Evelyn and Elijah smiled sleepily, their tiny hands reaching for his. "We love you too, Daddy," they murmured before drifting off to sleep. Lucas stood by their bedside, watching them breathe softly, their faces serene and content. In that moment, he understood the true power of love. It was not just a bond, it was a lifeline, a guiding star that would forever illuminate their path. With a heart full of gratitude and determination, Lucas left their room and joined Rosa in the living room. She was knitting a blanket, her fingers moving skillfully with the yarn. "How are they?" Rosa asked, looking up from her work. "They're perfect," Lucas replied, sitting beside her. "I met a woman at the park today. She reminded me of something important." Rosa raised an eyebrow, curious. "Oh, and what's that?" "That love is our strength. It's what binds us and guides us," Lucas said, his voice filled with conviction. Rosa smiled, her eyes shining with pride. "You've always known that, Lucas. Sometimes we just need a reminder." Lucas nodded, feeling a deep sense of contentment. "Yes, and I'm grateful for every reminder." As the night grew darker, Lucas and Rosa sat together, enveloped in the warmth of their home. They knew that the road ahead would have its challenges, but they also knew that with love, they could overcome anything. In that quiet, shared moment, Lucas felt the presence of his ancestors, their strength and resilience flowing through him. He was part of a legacy of love, one that would continue to guide him and his children through whatever lay ahead. The next morning, Lucas awoke with a renewed sense of purpose. He prepared breakfast with care, enjoying the simple yet profound act of nurturing his children. Evelyn and Elijah sat at the table, their eyes bright with curiosity and excitement for the day ahead. As they ate, Lucas shared his plans. "Today, we're going to do something special. We're going to visit the place where your mom and I first met." The twins' faces lit up with anticipation. "Where is it, Daddy?" Evelyn asked, her voice filled with wonder. "It's a beautiful garden," Lucas explained. "We used to go there often, and it's a place full of happy memories." After breakfast, they set out for the garden. The drive was filled with laughter and songs, the car echoing with the sounds of their joy. When they arrived, the garden was just as Lucas remembered, a haven of peace and beauty, filled with vibrant flowers and the gentle hum of nature. As they walked through the garden, Lucas pointed out various spots that held special memories. "This is where your mom and I had our first picnic," he said, showing them a sunny patch of grass. "And over there, by that fountain, is where we had our first dance under the stars." Evelyn and Elijah listened intently, their eyes wide with fascination. They could feel the love and nostalgia in their father's voice, and it made the garden feel even more magical. They reached a secluded area of the garden where a large oak tree stood, its branches stretching out like protective arms. Lucas led the twins to the base of the tree, where he knelt and placed a hand on its rough bark. "This tree," he began, his voice soft, "is where your mom and I carved our initials. It's a symbol of our love and the life we built together." Evelyn and Elijah looked at the carving, their tiny fingers tracing the letters. "L+S," Evelyn read aloud. "Lucas and Sophia." Lucas nodded, feeling a surge of emotion. "Yes, and now it's a place for all of us, a reminder of where we come from and the love that binds us." They sat under the tree, sharing stories and laughter. As the afternoon sun cast a warm glow over them, Lucas felt a deep connection to the past and a hopeful vision for the future. He realized that this garden, with all its memories, was a testament to the strength and resilience of their family. Back home, Lucas tucked the twins into bed, their eyes heavy with sleep, but their hearts full of the day's adventures. "Good night, my loves," he whispered, kissing their foreheads. "Dream of all the wonderful things we've shared and the amazing journey ahead." As he left their room, Lucas felt a profound sense of peace. He joined Rosa in the living room, where she was finishing her knitting. "How was the garden?" she asked, her eyes twinkling with curiosity. "It was perfect," Lucas replied, sitting beside her. "It reminded me of the strength and love that's always been a part of our family." Rosa nodded, a knowing smile on her lips. Love has a way of guiding us, even through the toughest times. Lucas took her hand, feeling the warmth and comfort of her presence. "And it's what will carry us forward. We have each other, and that's all we need." In that quiet moment, surrounded by the echoes of the past and the promise of the future, Lucas felt a renewed sense of hope. He knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, the love that bound them would always be their guiding light. As the days turned into weeks, Lucas and the twins settled into a new rhythm of life. The garden visits became a cherished routine, a sanctuary where they could feel Sophia's presence and draw strength from their memories. One morning, as they were preparing for another visit to the garden, Lucas noticed a letter in the mail. The envelope was old and slightly weathered, the handwriting familiar. He opened it with a sense of curiosity and a hint of trepidation. Inside, he found a letter from Sophia, written just days before her passing. "Lucas, my love," the letter began, "if you're reading this, it means I'm no longer with you in person, but my heart and soul will always be with you and our precious children. I want you to know that I am at peace, knowing you will guide Evelyn and Elijah with all the love and wisdom that has always defined you." Lucas felt tears well up in his eyes as he read her words. He continued, "Life will present challenges, and there will be moments of doubt, but I know you have the strength to overcome them. Remember to lean on each other, and don't be afraid to seek joy in the little things. Our love is eternal, and it will be the light that guides you through the darkest times." Sophia's words were like a balm to Lucas's heart, soothing the lingering pain and reinforcing his resolve. He shared the letter with Rosa, who held it with trembling hands, her eyes filled with tears. "She always knew how to find the right words," Rosa said softly, her voice breaking with emotion. Lucas nodded, feeling a deep sense of connection to his late wife. Her love is still here, guiding us. That afternoon, as they walked through the garden, Lucas carried Sophia's letter with him. He found a quiet spot under their beloved oak tree and read it aloud to the twins. Evelyn and Elijah listened intently, their young faces reflecting a mix of sadness and hope. "Mommy loved us so much," Evelyn whispered, her eyes glistening with tears. "She did," Lucas affirmed, his voice steady. "And she wants us to be strong and happy. She believed in us, and we must honor her memory by living our lives with love and courage." The twins hugged their father tightly, feeling the weight of their mother's love and the strength of their family bond. They spent the rest of the day playing and laughing in the garden, their spirits lifted by the sense of connection and resilience that Sophia's letter had brought. As the sun set, casting a golden glow over the garden, Lucas felt a profound sense of peace. He knew that the journey ahead would still have its challenges, but he also knew that they were not alone. Sophia's love and wisdom would continue to guide them, just as it had in life. Back home, Lucas placed the letter in a special box, a testament to the enduring power of love and the strength of their family. He joined Rosa and the twins at the dinner table, their laughter and chatter filling the house with warmth and joy. In that moment, Lucas realized that they had indeed found a way to honor Sophia's memory. By embracing life with open hearts and unwavering resilience, they were living out her legacy of love and strength. And that, more than anything, was the greatest tribute they could offer to the woman who had touched their lives so deeply. The days grew longer, and as summer turned to autumn, the air was filled with a sense of renewal. Lucas, Evelyn, and Elijah began to find their footing in this new chapter of their lives, drawing strength from the letter and the memories of Sophia. One crisp autumn morning, Lucas decided it was time to visit Sophia's grave with the twins. They gathered flowers from the garden, a mix of vibrant marigolds and soft white lilies, Sophia's favorite. As they walked to the cemetery, the children held hands, their small steps matching Lucas's steady pace. At the grave, Lucas knelt down, placing the flowers gently on the headstone. "Sophia," he began, his voice tender, "we're here to see you. The kids have been so strong, just like you always wanted." He looked at Evelyn and Elijah, their eyes reflecting the quiet strength they had inherited from their mother. Evelyn stepped forward, her voice a soft whisper. "Mommy, we miss you every day. Daddy reads your letter to us, and it makes us feel like you're still here with us." Elijah, usually the quieter of the two, spoke up next. "We're trying to be brave, like you said. We play in the garden and talk about you all the time." Lucas smiled, feeling the warmth of their words. "You would be so proud of them, Sophia. They're growing into such wonderful children." As they stood in silence, a gentle breeze rustled the leaves around them, creating a symphony of whispers that felt like Sophia's voice, encouraging them to keep moving forward. Lucas felt a profound sense of peace, as if Sophia's spirit was embracing them, offering comfort and strength. Rosa joined them, her presence a steadying force. "Sophia's love is all around us," she said softly, her eyes closed as she felt the breeze. "It's in the air, in the garden, and in our hearts." After a while, they began to walk back home, the path ahead feeling lighter. Lucas knew that their journey was far from over, but he also knew that they were equipped with the love and resilience needed to face whatever came their way. Back at the house, Lucas found himself in the kitchen, preparing dinner with the twins. They laughed and chatted, the atmosphere filled with the comforting sounds of family. As they sat down to eat, Lucas looked around the table, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. "Today was a good day," he said, raising his glass. "To Sophia, whose love continues to guide us." "To Mommy," the twins echoed, their faces bright with hope. Rosa smiled, raising her glass. "To family, and to the strength we find in each other." As they clinked their glasses together, Lucas felt the weight of the past months lift. He knew there would be more challenges ahead, but he also knew they had the strength to overcome them. They were a family, bound by love and resilience, and together they could face anything. That night, as Lucas tucked the twins into bed, they each handed him a drawing. Evelyn had drawn a picture of their family in the garden, with Sophia's figure glowing brightly above them. Elijah's drawing showed their family hand in hand, standing strong against the world. "These are beautiful," Lucas said, his voice thick with emotion. "We'll hang them up in the living room so we can always remember how strong we are together." He kissed them good night and turned off the lights, leaving the door slightly ajar. As he walked down the hall, he felt the presence of Sophia beside him, her love a constant, guiding light. Lucas knew that their journey was just beginning, but with the love of his children, the support of Rosa, and the enduring spirit of Sophia, he felt ready to embrace whatever the future held. They were a family united by love, and that love would carry them forward, always. As the seasons continued to change, so did the lives of Lucas, Evelyn, Elijah, and Rosa. The echoes of the past blended harmoniously with the promises of the future, creating a melody of hope and renewal. The family settled into a rhythm that was both comforting and invigorating, each day a testament to their resilience and love. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm golden glow over their home, Lucas called the family together. They gathered in the living room, where Evelyn's and Elijah's drawings now adorned the walls, a vibrant reminder of their strength and unity. "I have something I want to share with all of you," Lucas began, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "I've been thinking a lot about the future and what we can do to honor Sophia's memory and the love she gave us." Evelyn and Elijah looked up at their father, curiosity and anticipation shining in their eyes. Rosa, sitting beside them, gave Lucas an encouraging nod. "I've decided to start a community garden," Lucas continued, "a place where families can come together, grow food, and find a sense of peace and connection, just like we have in our own garden." The twins' faces lit up with excitement. "Can we help, Daddy?" Evelyn asked, her voice brimming with enthusiasm. "Of course," Lucas replied with a smile. "This garden will be for all of us. It's a way to give back to our community and keep Sophia's spirit alive." Over the next few weeks, the family worked tirelessly to bring Lucas's vision to life. They cleared a plot of land, tilled the soil, and planted seeds with care and love. Neighbors joined in, inspired by the family's determination and the story that had touched their hearts. The community garden became a place of healing and growth, where people from all walks of life came together to nurture the earth and each other. It blossomed into a vibrant oasis, filled with colorful flowers, lush vegetables, and the laughter of children playing among the plants. One day, as Lucas was tending to a row of tomatoes, a woman approached him with tears in her eyes. "Thank you," she said softly. "This garden has given my family a place to find hope and healing. We lost so much, but being here, surrounded by so much love and life, has helped us begin to heal." Lucas felt a surge of emotion, his heart swelling with gratitude. "This garden is for all of us," he replied, his voice gentle. "It's a place where we can all find peace and remember that we are not alone." As the garden flourished, so did the bonds within the community. People shared stories, offered support, and celebrated each other's triumphs. The garden became a symbol of resilience and hope, a testament to the power of love to heal and transform. One evening, as the sun set over the garden, casting a warm glow over the flowers and plants, Lucas gathered his family together. They stood in the heart of the garden, surrounded by the beauty they had helped create. "Sophia would be so proud of us," Lucas said, his voice filled with emotion. "We've turned our pain into something beautiful, something that brings joy and healing to so many." Evelyn and Elijah hugged their father, their faces glowing with pride. "We did it together, Daddy," Elijah said softly. Rosa placed a gentle hand on Lucas's shoulder. "We've all come a long way," she said, her eyes shining with tears of joy. "And I know Sophia is smiling down on us, proud of the family we've become." As they stood together, watching the sky change from gold to deep indigo, Lucas felt a profound sense of peace. They had faced unimaginable loss and pain, but through it all, they had found a way to heal and grow. The garden was a living testament to their journey, a place where love and resilience bloomed alongside the flowers. In that moment, Lucas knew that they were not just surviving, they were thriving. They had built a life filled with love, hope, and the promise of a brighter future. And as long as they had each other, they could face anything that came their way. Together, they walked back to their home, hand in hand, ready to embrace the new beginnings that awaited them. Their hearts were full, their spirits lifted, and they knew that, with love, anything was possible.